My name is
Good
Alan
evening.
Chua. I'm located in Yaoundé, Cameroon. I'm a student of marketing, trading, and marketing. I am an artist. I do in drawing. I'm a digital marketer of a Canadian institute.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
I'm very happy to be in this group, where to gain more skills, add in my CV.
Okay, you're welcome. You're very much welcome. All right, so let's move to the next, and the next should be we have Google Pixel 3. I don't know who is using that device. Can you please unmute your mic and introduce yourself, please? Google Pix. Google Pix. Okay, so while waiting for that, we move to Ngalim Joyce. Ngalim Joyce, are you there?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Yes, good evening.
I am Galin Joycelyn. I'm connecting from Bafusam, Cameroon. I'm a teacher by profession. I'm glad to partake in this awesome training. I hope to learn more from the host and other participants.
All right, thank you very much. And we hope you are going to have a nice day with us. So we move to the next. We have Maureen. 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 Okay, so Maureen is not connecting. So we move to we have Sunjo Modest. Sunjo Modest. Sorry about that. Sunjo Modest. Can you introduce yourself, please? Sunjo Modest. All right, great. So for the other two, we equally have two other participants, but their mics, they still have an issue with their mics, so I'm sure they cannot get what we are saying. We have a Technospark 7. Can you please unmute your mic, introduce yourself? Technospark 7.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Yes, I can get you. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, this is Nzinke Edwin calling all the way from Cameroon.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we're having problem of network, so I've not heard the starting. So I wish to hear how the starting is so that I can contribute.
So
Thank you.
We want you to introduce yourself and tell us where you're connecting from and your profession.
All right. I'm Nzinke Edwin all the way from Cameroon, Manfe precisely. I'm a nurse by profession. Now working with the CBC, Cameroon Baptist Convention Health Services.
Okay, all right, thank you, and we say welcome to this training program. So
Thank
we are
you.
going to kick off. For anyone who has not introduced themselves within the course of the training, you are going to do that. All right, we are going to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself so we can know each other more better. I hope that is okay. All right, great. So we are here because we want to undergo a training in entrepreneurship and innovation. So my name is Tamon Diodone. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tatita Group Institute. So we are going to be drilling you on entrepreneurship and innovation. And the tutors who are going to take you throughout this training, we have Mr. Ajume Marvin, who is going to be your main tutor. Okay, I'm just going to assist him in one way or the other. Okay, so we are going to actually go through a very thrilling training, and this is at the professional level. Okay, we are not here to start telling you defining entrepreneurship or start giving you insights of what entrepreneurship is, but we are actually going to give you a briefing and equally take you to the professional level. So this is actually a full course, and I believe that we are really going to move together. We are going to understand what this course is all about, and at the end, we should become great entrepreneurs. So Tatita Group Institute is a virtual institute which is located here in the United Arab Emirates. I'm currently at the office at the moment. That's where I'm actually connected with you guys. Okay, so we are affiliated to CPD, which is located in UK. That's where we get most of our certifications. Data Group Institute equally offers its own certifications, and of course, we equally issue globally recognized certifications from CPD as well. We have variety of courses. Some of these courses include we have digital marketing, we have human resource management, we have BIM, which is what we call building information modeling. For those who are architects or engineers, you actually understand what the course is all about. We equally have graphic design, we have web design, we have data analysis, we have UI, UX design, we have data processing as well. We equally have IT courses as well. So with time, I believe you guys will be able to know some of these courses, and actually you might decide to enroll into some of the courses. Most of our courses do come with the UK certifications, while others do come with just the Tatita Group Institute certification. So once again, you are all welcome. And I'm equally going to be introducing the main tutor of today, known as Mr. Jume Marvin. I believe he's going to tell you more about himself. He actually has more than 8 years experience in this particular field. He's a manager, he's a bank manager by profession, and he has a lot of skills, and equally is the CEO of CPET, which is an NGO which is out to train people to become entrepreneurs on their own, okay, to be able to build businesses on their own and actually make something out of life. So I want to welcome Mr. Jume Marvin, and let's hope we are going to get, I hope we are going to have a very thrilling session with him. Mr. Jume Marvin, over to you.
Good evening, guys, and thank you very much, Mr. Tamon Diodone, for this opportunity and this platform that you've created so that we can make good use of technology and share ideas, share experience, and improve the quality of our lives. Like you said, I am called Mr. Ajumi Marvin. I am in Cameroon. In terms of education, I hold a bachelor's degree in banking and finance, and presently running an MBA in startups and entrepreneurship. Also, I hold several professional diplomas, like I'm a CPD certified digital marketer and Google certified digital marketer. I'm also a cohort 2 IEP Peace Ambassador. I'm also that's we call it Ernest Obama Fellow in Entrepreneurship. It's based in Switzerland. So I'm I think cohort 12 fellow in entrepreneurship. So I've read several books in entrepreneurship, and also I've partaken in a lot of seminars and trainings in entrepreneurship that have groomed me. And I think in this platform, we are going to use this platform to share our experiences, share our knowledge that we've acquired, so that together we can make life much better for ourselves. Professionally, I'm a bank manager. I have around 6 years experience as a manager, and I think I have around 3 years working experience in other departments in the financial institution. I'm also a tutor in Omega Professional Institute, and also a tutor in the Tadita Group Institute. So in terms of professionalism, I think I have a wide range of experience. I'm also the CEO of CPET, so a position that I've been occupying for 3 years today. and also the managing director of the said institution. So my experience cuts across social entrepreneurship, business entrepreneurship, and even education. So in our today's course, as we move forward, I'm going to share my experience, and I'm not only the master here, all of us here, we are masters. And in the business of entrepreneurship, we're going to be working together to stretch ourselves so that together we can share ideas, we can share experiences, and then we see how we can turn these ideas, look at them from opportunity point of view, and now we see how we can use these ideas and make money out of it and introduce something new into the system or into the things that we make that others also introduce. So thank you very much. I think we will just move straight maybe to our lecture. Or, also, I think I have my colleague, Mr. Ban Yodone. I think he will introduce himself as well. Then we move forward. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Jumbe Marvin, for that brief introduction. All right. So, guys, we equally have Mr. Banjidene Chuye. He's a human resource specialist. All right. He has over more than 5 years experience in the human resource field. And I believe that maybe from time to time, he'll be able to give us maybe his own understanding as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. Now, one thing I love about entrepreneurship is that it is meant for everybody. Unlike other fields of studies, which you try to specialize, but everybody needs to become an entrepreneur. If you're thinking of becoming successful in life, you're thinking of owning that particular business, how to manage your business, how to create a business for yourself, then you need to become an entrepreneur. And I believe that he equally has an idea as far as this field is concerned. So I'll just give him the floor. All right. He's going to introduce himself, tell you a little bit about himself. So with time, if there is something you need from him as well, I believe he'll be able to assist you guys as well. All right, Mr. Ban, over to you.
Okay, good evening all. I am happy to be here. I'm as well. I think that learning does not have any limit. All of us, we are here to share our experiences and to learn. I am a holder of a master's degree in human resource management and development, a student member of the Chartered Institute for Personnel Development in the UK. And I am also a tutor for the Digital Group Institute. I have experience working in Qatar and in Cameroon. I work with the National Group for Agriculture and Animal Products in Qatar, and in Cameroon with rural doctors in Boya. So I think for entrepreneurship, there is nothing that we do, especially in our world today, without the human factor of it. And I'm sure within our course, which would be handled by our learned Mr. Ajume, we are going to learn, we are going to see some of these futures, human futures. And also, like Mr. Temon said, we are not just here to give you academic materials. We are also we also want to create that family of professionals where we can assist each other to achieve our objectives in life. So as a human resource, there are some times when we need CVs and we need some things to help us acquire new experiences, new jobs, and all the like. So I would say you should feel free anytime you need an assistant, anytime you need, you don't understand anything at the place of work, why it should be so. You should feel free to contact us because we have experience working in our country and out. I am happy to be here. I'm sure Mr. Ajume will give us such an experience today. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Banjidune, for that explicit introduction. All right. So, guys, from time to time, we are going to be having some of the tutors who are going to pop in. All right. Unfortunately, I'm not sure Mr. Bilal Heda. I really wanted him to be here because he's a guru when it comes to entrepreneurship here in the United Arab Emirates. He owns more than 15 different companies here. So his experience, though he might be speaking and be very difficult for us to understand, but I'll try my possible best to see how I can pull him to be part of any of our upcoming sessions so you can actually get to receive that experience, that entrepreneurship experience from an expert as well. All right. So just keep in touch, make sure you attend all sessions, and hopefully, if I can lay hands on him during this time, because it's almost 12. So it's always difficult, maybe walking towards the day and trying to catch up with such a session will be very difficult for him. But hopefully, we are going to have him with us. Now, for those of you, I'm sure majority of you already know me, but for the benefit of a doubt, I'm just going to tell you more about myself before we actually kick off with the training. All right, so I already said my name is Tamon Diodene. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Tadita Group Institute. Okay, I'm equally an MBA holder in banking, tax administration, and financial services. I've been working with the banking sector for the past 4 years before I decided to migrate here, the United Arab Emirates, which I had to, I won't say switch careers because I'm still in the same career, both the digital marketing sector and the finance sector as well. I'm a certified digital marketing expert from UK. I'm a Google certified digital marketing expert and the KHDA certified digital marketing expert here in the United Arab Emirates. All right. So amongst others, I won't really be listing them right here. Okay. And I'm equally I'm the CEO of TG Digital Marketing Agency and Tadita Group Travel. So I believe with time, we're going to have a lot to discuss and how you can actually really build something great for yourself. And I believe Mr. Ajume Marvin is the perfect person to actually assist you guys to, there's a difference between actually doing something and being able to tutor someone to be able to do the same thing. Those are two different things. But I believe with what he will give you and the experiences we have had, will be able to help you to ensure that you are able to build something for yourself, which I believe that should be something you should hand to your upcoming generation. So I don't think there are people here who think to work all their lives and maybe end up being a pensioner. We should be thinking of building something for ourselves. We should be thinking of leaving a legacy for our children. That's the reason why we are organizing this training program. We don't want to just come here and talk to you about entrepreneurship. We want to ensure that at the end of this training program, you should have built something for yourself. You should have started up a small business for yourself, which in the next 10, 15, 20 years, you should have matured and given you something which can sustain you and maybe your family, and who knows, you may be able to help others as well. All right, thank you guys, and make sure you stay with us right up to the end of this session because we have a lot to give you. Mr. Jimmy has a lot which he needs to impact in you guys, and I believe we are going to go home smiling after this session. All right, thank you very much, and over to you, Mr. Jume Marvin.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tamon Jodoni, for this opportunity. Before we start, I think I will just share my screen. Are we together? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can. I can see your screen. I think it's perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah, when you look, we have our cover page as a Tadita Group Virtual Institute for Entrepreneurship, and our masterclass today is Entrepreneurship and Innovation. One thing is, when the concept of entrepreneurship started, when we talk about entrepreneurship, a lot of people were thinking of business creation. But today, the concept of entrepreneurship is shifting from business creation to other aspects about entrepreneurship. So when, you discover that today in many companies and in many jobs, you discover that most CEOs, most managers are looking for entrepreneurs to recruit them. Why? An entrepreneur is somebody who thinks different. An entrepreneur is somebody who asks a lot of questions. An entrepreneur is somebody who is always asking what, why, how, when. These economic questions, they always ask these questions. So now, when you have somebody as an entrepreneur in your company, these are people who will always have something to bring in the table when the usual option doesn't work. If some of us, when we learn our regular professions, accounting, banking, marketing, we are conventional. The same things that our teachers taught us 10 years ago, they are the same things that we are implementing right up to today. But an entrepreneur is somebody who struggles to stretch his or her mind so that value can be added to whatsoever knowledge they got in school. So now the knowledge of entrepreneurship is not only for those people who want to create jobs, but the knowledge of entrepreneurship and innovation. That's why now you discover that we are not talking about entrepreneurship alone. We are talking about entrepreneurship and innovation. So that whether you want to create a job, whether you want to create a company for yourself, or whether you want to grow in your existing career, you need this course, entrepreneurship and innovation, so that your skills can remain relevant in that particular industry in which you are working, so that you can always have something to put in the table whenever the usual way doesn't work. Today, we are in a situation where there is lots of disruption, which means when we have a regular way where things, people are already used to a normal way in which we do things. We are already very comfortable. A fast guy will just come with a new way of doing things and disrupt that particular chain. And before you know it, what used to give companies thousands of millions of dollars, they start losing that money because somebody came in with an idea and disrupted that particular way in which that industry was functioning. It is now the responsibility of entrepreneurs and innovators who are working in these particular places so that they can introduce a new way of doing things. So let's move on. The second slide. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most of the people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people do. So an entrepreneur is that person who uses a short time of a short period of time, and they invest in their human resource, in their human capital, and in every aspect of their life to make the best out of life today, so that tomorrow, whatever they introduce in the system keeps on generating income for them consistently. Excuse me 1 minute, guys. Hello, guys. Can you get me?
Yeah, I think it's, you can get you. Please, can you just maybe go to slideshow? Just try to make it a little bit bigger. I believe it's going to be comfortable for everyone.
Is it okay
Yeah,
now?
yes, more okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry for that technical problem. Yeah, so we were saying that entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So as an entrepreneur, you need to invest your resources in such a way that what you have invested today will keep on generating revenue even when you are not capable, or even to your generations to come. And that is the best way of living life. A life when you are not there, your family generations, they will keep on benefiting. That's why we have the billionaires of today. You discover that the kind of wealth they have created for themselves and their family, whenever they are not there, their families will keep on moving forward. So, who is an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur? So, an entrepreneur is an individual who undertakes the risks associated with creating, organizing, and owning a business. An individual who undertakes the risks associated with creating, organizing, and owning a business. The challenge we have today is a lot of people call themselves entrepreneurs. And these entrepreneurs who call themselves today, or who claim they are people with just an idea. The moment they have an idea, you start calling that particular idea, or start calling themselves, giving themselves that title, an entrepreneur. But today, with the definition of entrepreneur, is an individual who undertakes the risks associated with creating, organizing, and owning a business. So if your idea is not up to that standard, where you have taken risks to introduce that particular thing, where that particular idea, know that you are entrepreneurial, your entrepreneurial idea is not yet mature. You need to create that idea in such a way that you put it in form of a business, you organize it, and then you own it. Owning it means it is existing. You cannot own what does not exist. A lot of people, they own businesses that do not exist. But as somebody who is an entrepreneur, a true entrepreneur is somebody who has undertaken risk, has created a business, is running that business, and that business exists in a physical way that you can see, that you have maybe employees, it's generating you revenue, and the rest. That is who an entrepreneur is. And please, can you unmute your mic, please? Mute your mic. Somebody, there's noise on the background. So,
all right, just go ahead. I will handle that.
Yes, Stevenson in 1985 defined entrepreneurship as a process of creating value, putting together a unique package of resources to exploit an opportunity. The process of entrepreneurship starts with an opportunity. And then now, whenever there's an opportunity, we have lots of persons that identify this opportunity. But what makes you an outstanding entrepreneur is your ability to create a unique package of resources. Because when there is an opportunity comes first from a problem. Whenever there's a problem as an entrepreneur, you see that problem from an opportunity point of view. And immediately when you identify that opportunity, you need to mobilize resources so that you can exploit this opportunity. So an entrepreneur is that person who can create a unique package, who can design a unique package of resources that are able to exploit this opportunity, because that is where money comes in. An entrepreneur is when somebody, when you seize an opportunity, that opportunity, you look, how can you generate revenue out of this opportunity? And what is needed from me to generate revenue out of this particular opportunity? When you put these things together and exploit that opportunity, now you are an entrepreneur. That is the Stevenson point of view. And exactly that is what entrepreneurship is all about. So entrepreneurship is the ability to create and build something from practically nothing. So entrepreneurs are not those people that they have created things and put in their disposal for them to manage or for them to complete. But they are those people who are able to develop something from scratch, which means when you sit and identify a problem in a community around you, you start thinking of possible solutions to that particular thing. The moment you are thinking of possible solutions, ideas start coming in, and then you identify the opportunities in that particular problem, and then you think on how to invent something. When you invent something, you think of how you can generate revenue out of it, and at the end, you find yourself in entrepreneurship. And for you to do that, you need to go through the process of initiating. You need to go through the process of doing it. You need to go through a process of risk taking. And now at the end, you need to go through building an enterprise to manage it. So an entrepreneur is not a one-man show. An entrepreneur is simply just a leader with a theme, working together in an enterprise. So an individual who takes risks associated. So we were talking about entrepreneurship and innovation. And I want us to look at this. To be innovative, you need to be able to think differently. So people always call innovators, innovators, they are those kind of people who come in with a lot of stupid ideas. Those people who think of things that people will feel that it will not work. That's the meaning of thinking different. Somebody who is ready to ask questions in every possible moment, which means when you see people going down, you ask that, what if these people are going, but instead up, not down? That is how an innovator thinks. And that's how an entrepreneur thinks. Because innovation is a process, is one of the processes of an entrepreneur. So when you see people going down, you ask yourself, what if these people were going up? That's the meaning of thinking different. If you see people maybe going to the market in the morning, you start asking yourself, what if these people were going to the market in the evening? What if these people were going in the market? Which means you are struggling to create disruption. Because the moment you ask yourself, what if these people were going to the market in the evening, and you ask yourself, what were these people going to do in the market in the morning if they are going to buy? In case you create those same things that they want to buy in the morning, in the evening, will they buy? And the moment you start thinking of creating that provision in the evening for them to come and buy, you start creating disruption in the way and in the system in which those people were operating. That is already innovation, and that is already entrepreneurship. You are disrupting the way things used to work, and now you are introducing your own new thing in the market. And if others can abide in it, you discover that you own a business, you own an enterprise where people can manage. That's how an entrepreneur thinks, and that is the birth of entrepreneurship. So innovation can be about a process. Like I was talking about a process in which people do things. Why is it that the process of maybe making bread takes 2 hours? What if that process could take 30 minutes? What can you do to make sure that instead of that process taking 1 hour, it should take 30 minutes? So in thinking, when you think in that particular manner of struggling to see how to fasten the way things used to move in a particular process, that is innovation. It comes up with innovation. And that's why you discover that at first people used to dig roads with their hands and it takes weeks, but now somebody invented a caterpillar, and that is what they are using today, which is using hours to do thousands or to do lots of kilometers. A new marketing method. At first, people used to go to the market, but today people are advertising online. People sit in their homes and use the internet to make command, buy, and they do home delivery. But at first, people needed to go to the market to buy. That is a new marketing system. You think of how you can make products that you produce available to the customers in a more convenient and more faster way. How can your product reach wider audience? How can your product reach wide consumers with less time and less costly, with more persons being satisfied? The moment you start thinking like that and you start developing ideas in which these things can be implemented, that is what pushes you to invent, to innovate something, to introduce something new. A new organizational method in workplace. Yes, you can have the way your workplace is organized, an organogram and a set of rules where work needs to move from one office to another. But now you create a very simple rule, like in a bank. At first, when you came to do your withdrawal, you needed to make your check. When you make your check at the counter, maybe you take it maybe to what we call account relation officer. The account relation officer signs the check, then they forward you to the cash where you spend time standing on the line with your form. Then you go, they print you a receipt and they send it to you. That is the way the organizational workplace was functioning. But today you discover that there are ATM machines where you don't need to fill any paper. You just come directly to the cash, to the ATM machine, you slot your card, you input what you're requesting, and just with your card, money comes out with your receipt and you leave in less than no time. At first, when we used to receive money from when we wanted to receive money, we used to have our express exchange, our express union, where you go there, you stand in a line, and then you fill forms, you move from one office to another so that they can sign your bordereau, verify, and the rest. But now with just a simple alert, your Momo alert, you have the money, and you can even just go to any call box without filling any form, and you withdraw that money in less than no time. That is disruption in the workplace. It's struggle. That's innovation. That's invention. There's an upgrade in the system of money transfer, and that is what entrepreneurship is all about. When you look at the way things operate, you ask yourself, what can I do to make things more different the way it used to be? Entrepreneurship and innovation. So here, innovation is a process by which entrepreneurs convert opportunities into marketable ideas. Innovation is a process by which entrepreneurs convert opportunities into market ideas. So from this definition, you see, we cannot put the definition of entrepreneurship and innovation aside. They are the same side of the same coin, because innovation moves with entrepreneurship. The moment you are an entrepreneur, what you need to add into your entrepreneurial value is your ability to convert every opportunity you have into a marketable idea. And the moment you can implement that, that is when you are termed an innovator. You have invented something new in the marketplace. So the moment you call yourself an entrepreneur, when there is nothing in the marketplace that is ready to satisfy human wants, then something is still lacking in your entrepreneurial process. So you need something that people can appreciate, that can provide solutions to people's problems in the marketplace, that can generate you revenue in the marketplace, that you can put at the counter and somebody will be ready to pay for at a particular price at a particular time. Demand, that is entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is a combination of vision to create a good idea and to be perseverant and dedicate everything that you have so that that concept can be implemented, which means it starts with a vision. When a vision is there as an innovator, then now that idea is mobilized, that idea is modified, that idea is worked on, that idea is being analyzed, processed, and then now at this point in time when the idea is processed, it's not easy to make it real. It's not easy to make it real. There is what we call perseverance, because there are lots of people at this particular stage who are going to discourage you, who are going to tell you directly that this thing like this can't work. That is a moment of perseverance. You need to be perseverant, which means the moment you test your idea and it doesn't work, that is a moment for you to step back, again, re-strategize, rearrange your idea, and come back in the marketplace. When you come back in the marketplace and it doesn't work, it doesn't mean you should quit. It's time for you to go back again, re-strategize, put your picks together, and come back again into the marketplace and see how it will work. The moment you do this, the moment you gain experience, and the moment you introduce something in the marketplace. So when you persevere, there is dedication. When we talk about dedication, it means sacrificing your all and all. That's the meaning of dedication, which means you are ready to sacrifice your last dime to ensure that your concept works. So an idea that you yourself, you are not ready to sacrifice financially, time-wise, energy, resources of all sorts to it to ensure that it works, means you yourself, you are not serious. A true entrepreneur is somebody that in the process of perseverance, they put all the necessary resources at their disposal to ensure that it works. That's the meaning of dedication. So an entrepreneur with a vision which has been modified, which has been structured, which has been tailored, and is persevering without dedicating time and resources to ensure that this thing works, means he is still lacking something. So the moment you persevere, you dedicate in this concept to the implementation phase, it becomes you an entrepreneur. So you see, innovation is the function of entrepreneurial process. There's no way you can talk about entrepreneur without talking about innovation. The two moves together. Right, guys, entrepreneurship, a mindset. Entrepreneurship, a mindset. So the first thing they say, the mind is very powerful. They say, as a Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So what is in your mind? When you sit, do you think of failure or do you think of success? As an entrepreneur, what determines your entrepreneurial capacity is what you have upstairs. And the moment you educate your mind and build your mind to think as an entrepreneur, that is what makes you an entrepreneur. So the entrepreneurship process starts with your mindset. That's why an entrepreneur is somebody who sits today and maybe from a bamboo car, the person is seeing a Hummer Jeep in 10 years' time from today. It's all about when he sits like this and see people trekking, he pictures himself inventing a car that can transport people, which means as he's moving on the road and sees people moving with food, he's seeing people instead moving inside the car, and that car is just a visual car in a space that nobody can see. And he will be telling you a story that as I was moving, I saw people moving in something which was moving faster, taking people from one position to another. That is the mindset of an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who comes to your kitchen and you're cooking, and he pictures on a way that maybe you can sit comfortably in your parlor, relaxing, and something prepares that food and come and serve you. An entrepreneur is somebody who sits and see you maybe rushing from parlor to your kitchen time and again because you're occupied with something, and then you struggle to develop something that will be able to notify you if food is ready in the kitchen to prevent you from wasting time running off to the kitchen and coming back. An entrepreneur is somebody that when he comes to the door, he sees the inconvenience of him carrying luggage in his hands and struggling to remove a key to open the door, and maybe he develops an maybe something, a technological device that immediately you reach the door like a sensor, that when you reach the door, it feels your presence and the door opens automatically. An entrepreneur is somebody that feels the inconvenience of security and things that maybe the inconvenience of reaching your gate and moving right into the house to on the security bulb will be very difficult, and then put a sensor at the gate that immediately you reach at the gate, the lights come on its own. An entrepreneur is somebody who thinks about the street lights and things that maybe with the street lights, if we allow these street lights open during the day, we are going to waste a lot of energy. And because there are street lights, we cannot pay somebody to be owning these lights and opening them every day. So we can create a system that when it is 12 hours different from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., these lights, they go off automatically. And when it's 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, these lights come on automatically. That is who an entrepreneur is. It starts with the mindset. You are thinking of how you can facilitate the way things move. The moment you start thinking towards that direction, something that's when ideas start coming up And then those opportunities, you see how you can galvanize them and you make good use of them by inventing something into the marketplace. And when you struggle and implement it, it makes you an entrepreneur. That's what entrepreneurship is all about. So entrepreneurship is more than mere creation of a business. Yes, if you just run and create a business and you call yourself an entrepreneur, no. I can still decide to go and buy something from somebody and create a provision store I'm selling. It doesn't make me an entrepreneur. At that particular stage, I'm still a business person. What makes me an entrepreneur is my ability to open a shop and create a different system on how they will be making sales, making adverts, making maybe purchases in that shop. That is the meaning of entrepreneurship. A lot of people confuse between entrepreneurship and businesses. So that's why I say that entrepreneurship is more than mere creation of a business. If it was all about creation of business, a lot of people would be entrepreneurs. But when you just create a business and you just make copy and paste, you know that this is a line of provision, you buy, you stock, you sell, without introducing anything new in the procedure of purchase, sales, and the rest, it doesn't make you an entrepreneur. Secondly, an entrepreneur is taking risks beyond security, which means you want to indulge yourself into a provision store. That is what everybody is doing. But you are taking the risk to introduce something new in your store, which might either chase away all your customers or make all the customers flock into your place. So taking that risk of uncertainty, who will really be ready and able to consume that particular thing that you have introduced in the market, that is what makes you an entrepreneur. Having the tendency to push through to reality. At first, mindset is just a vision that you have. Your ability to push through to reality is what makes you an entrepreneur. Pushing through it, doing everything possible within your reach, that particular thing that you have as a vision should be real, is what makes you an entrepreneur. So let's move to our next slide. So we have a historical perspective of entrepreneurship. So I will not really go to theory. I will create a handout where you can read the theory of entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship concept started as far back as creation. That is when the entrepreneurship concept started. Although at that particular time, we did not have scientists to really call it entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurs are people who find solutions to problems. And in the dark ages, or in the early 700s, there was exchange, where people used to exchange things for the barter system. And you discover that there was somebody who saw that there is a valuable metal, that in case we introduce this valuable metal as a currency, it will facilitate trade in such a way that if I need a good and I have a fowl, I can simply go and hand it to the person that has metal and now collect that particular metal. And then somebody who has a good will go there and also exchange and take, and then we do purchases. That was the barter system. So now the currency, there's somebody who invented that metal that could be used as a currency at that particular time, which was generally accepted by somebody. That is already the concept of entrepreneurship. He was introducing something new in the market. At first, we always had wild fruits in the field. The corn, the means that we have today, was wild corn in the field, where people used to just move around harvest. But you discover that the moment some early guys discovered that you could take that particular corn, maize, you eat, and the smaller seeds, you throw them somewhere and they germinate and you take care of it, it developed the agricultural industry. And we have what we have today. That is invention. It started in the early yesteryears. So you discover that in the early 700s, Richard Cartinson, who was an economist, coined term entrepreneurship, go better between the taker. And you discover now that in the 19th century, that was now when we had the Industrial Revolution. And with the Industrial Revolution, we started having the invention, where a lot of persons were inventing new things. So So as they were inventing new things now in the marketplace, that is how the concept of entrepreneurship was coming. Excuse. How many guys? Yeah, can you get me? Hello guys, can you get me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, sorry for that small technical hitch-up, please. Okay, we were on the history of, yeah, we were here. Yeah, we were on a history of entrepreneurship, historical perspective on entrepreneurship. So I was saying that there was the invention of agriculture from that, and after that we had the Industrial Revolution where we started having the invention. So the invention gave rise to entrepreneurship. So where people were introducing new machines in the market, where people were thinking of faster ways of doing things as entrepreneurs, where people were thinking of how we could use machines as entrepreneurs. Because with the Industrial Revolution, there was the introduction of the locomotive machines and the rest. And that is how entrepreneurship was evolving up to what we have up to today. But we will not focus much of our time on that. So we'll move to the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Excuse me, guys, 1 minute. Let me adjust something. Okay, let's continue. Personal. It's okay, let's continue. Personal characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. So the first thing is persistent. I'm sure the screen is clear, please. Hello, guys, is the screen clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, okay. I'm saying so because I'm seeing some messages that is not clear that much. So that's why I'm struggling to see how to improve it. But if it's clear, it's okay. Okay, personal characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. Yeah. An entrepreneur, the first characteristic is just that he needs to be persistent. So you need to be, as an entrepreneur, you need to be persistent. So when we talk about persistent, what does it mean? There are some people, they are everywhere. Today, they are into groundnut. Tomorrow, they are into boiled yam. After tomorrow, they are into cassava, and so on and so forth. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be persistent in what you are doing, which means when you have an idea, you do everything possible within your reach to ensure that you get the best out of it. Persistent means when you introduce an idea in the market, you do everything possible to improve on that particular idea over time. It's not quitting. But most challenge that we have today is when people have an idea and they introduce in the market and it doesn't work, immediately, instead of thinking on how to improve on that particular idea, they abandon that idea and run away. The moment you do a hide and seek game where you touch today and then you run tomorrow, you discover that you are not persistent. And because of that, your vision ends up just as a mere daydreamer. You become a daydreamer. So, but as an entrepreneur, you need to be very persistent in all that you do. Every idea that you have, you do a test of it, and if it doesn't work, you come back and you redo it consistently till you get the best out of it. Then we have creativity. As an entrepreneur, you need to be very creative. Creative means you struggle at all costs to introduce or add value to an existing idea. Add value to an existing way that people were doing things. You struggle at all possible costs that you ask strong questions. What if? What if question is always very important at this point of creativity. So that whenever you have a way that people are doing things and you ask this what if questions, it helps to build your brain in providing an answer to that your what if, and before you know it, you have created something new. Responsible. Responsible means you need to be responsible over your actions. The moment you ask yourself what if question and you take risks to provide an answer to that particular what if question, you should be responsible for the outcome of your test. Most of us, we are not entrepreneurs today because we are running away from responsibility. We don't want to be held responsible for failure. We are too afraid of failure. So because we are afraid of failure, we don't want to take responsibility of failure. We just want to take responsibility for glory or success. And that is what has killed lots of us. So as an entrepreneur, be ready to accept both the failures and success of it. Be responsible for these things. The moment you are able to accept responsibility that if things are moving well, good and fine. If things are moving bad, good and fine. You discover that it will stress you for success in entrepreneurship. Inquisitive. There is no question which is stupid. I started learning this particular statement when I was in secondary school, where our teachers used to say there is no stupid question. Because we had a lot of people who asked a lot of stupid questions, and these questions at times they were in such a way that some people were laughing, but at the end, those same people who were laughing when these answers are provided to these same questions, a lot of people learn from it. So as an entrepreneur, you need to take that position of a fool. A fool means they ask even the stupid questions. Ask stupid questions. Nobody has ever been killed for asking a question. So as an entrepreneur, be that person that asks stupid questions. Be very inquisitive. If you go in a place and people, instead of eating or sitting on a chair, they are standing, ask yourself, ask them, why is it that here people, instead of sitting, they are standing? If you go in a place and people do not eat a particular meal and instead they are going in for another one, why is it that in Banso people eat fukon and in Mampi people eat ero? Be so inquisitive about the way of life, the way people do things. Why is it that the process is like this instead of this? When you are too inquisitive and you ask a lot of questions, that is when you discover that new ideas start coming in, and now it creates room for innovation. We have goal-oriented, be goal-oriented. As an entrepreneur, you need to set goals. When you set goals, they help to guide you to give limits to whatsoever idea you have or what you are struggling to implement. So goal setting is very important because they guide you. It gives you a plan, an action plan, and the expected result. That's one good thing about goal setting. Goal setting is not just a plan on how to do it, but goal settings gives you an expected result. So whenever there is an idea and there is a process of implementation, there is also an objective to be attained. That objective to be attained is now the goal-oriented part of you, which helps you to organize your entrepreneurial venture. You need to be independent. Independent means you need to be responsible for your actions. You don't need to depend on another person. You need to be independent to validate your idea, because when you depend on another person to validate your idea, they might call you a daydreamer. You might take your idea to another person and you ask that person and says, live here. You are just a daydreamer. But the moment you are able to validate independently your idea, that is it. You are gone. And for you to validate your idea, you need to be self-confident. If you don't trust yourself, who will trust you? If your dream, you don't trust your dream, how do you expect me to trust your dream? That's the meaning of self-confidence, which means whatsoever you are doing, you are not doing a try and see error, but you are struggling to put in your best with a positive mindset, confident that it's going to generate the expected results. An entrepreneur doesn't need to be double-minded. The moment you are double-minded, you become a gambler. An entrepreneur gets into every particular venture full-hearted, with confidence that they will make it out. Their failure only comes as a result of risk. But to them, they know that they are going in to conquer, to win. That is who an entrepreneur is. Risk taker. Yes. In the definition of entrepreneurship, we have risk takers. So as an entrepreneur, if you cannot take risks, then you are not an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be a great risk taker. Your ability to introduce something new, your ability to invest your last dime, your ability to waste your time, your ability to put in all your possible best resources to ensure that something works, to introduce something new in the market. That is what makes you an entrepreneur. So skills needed for you to become an entrepreneur. The various skills needed for you to become an entrepreneur. First thing is communication skills. In school, when we learn what we learn in school, there are some aspects in life that they will not teach you in school. You yourself, you need to fetch for yourself. And if you are at this particular level, when you do not have some particular skills as an entrepreneur, it will disturb you a lot. And the first important skill as a professional and as an entrepreneur is communication. Every business is all about communication. When we talk about communication here, most people just think of verbal communication, but communication cuts across. Communication starts from maybe verbal discussion and exchange, writing of letters, emails, use of phone calls, social media, social platforms of communications, traveling, and so on and so forth. So as an entrepreneur, you need to master as many communication skills as possible that will permit you be able to sustain whatsoever situation you find yourself in.
Please for the
Because
slide, sir.
you have an idea, the only way to express that particular idea is through communication. You need to communicate your idea to your investors. You need to communicate your idea to your customers. You need to communicate your idea to your team members. You need to communicate your idea maybe to your administration. You need to communicate your idea to many other persons. So your ability to succeed as an entrepreneur, you need all forms of communication so that this idea can pass on. Human relation skills. As an entrepreneur, you cannot work on your own. It is very impossible. You need to create a team that you need to work together with to achieve that particular objective. You cannot be a marketer at the same time, you be in the production at the same time, you be in the delivery at the same time, you do everything, you be at the administration at the same time. No, you need human relations to work with them. You need human capital to work with them. So the moment you cannot manage people very well, the moment you have a poor human relationship skill, it will affect your entrepreneurial venture. An entrepreneur is somebody who is like a leader, who is able or who has the ability to inspire all other persons around them so that together they can be able to achieve a set objective. Your human relations doesn't only end at the level of your team. Your customers that you relate to, they are human beings. You also need to have a good relationship with them. Customer service skill is very important as an entrepreneur. Your relationship with administration, with the taxation, it's very important. Those things, you need to take them into consideration in the entrepreneurial venture. Mathematics skills. One thing is, entrepreneurship is not only about creating something new in the market, but it's the ability to make income out of it. Your ability to make out income is your ability to be able to compare your cost of production, your revenue generated, and your margins. And if you do not have basic mathematical skills to know how much you put in, how much you run in your processing, and how much comes out of it, you might instead be getting into a loss thinking that you are an entrepreneur. So basic mathematics is very important because it is what will help you calculate or the basic calculate your basic input, your basic processes, and your basic output. You make a comparative analysis on your cost of production and on your total revenue generated and on your margins to know whether it is a good entrepreneurial venture or not. Problem solving and decision making skill. All entrepreneurship comes from solving a problem. That's why they always say the problem in this life is not having money. Money is simply just a commodity in exchange for an idea. And an idea that can fetch money is when that idea can provide solution into somebody's problem. So as an entrepreneur, you need to develop a problem-solving skill that when you stand anywhere, you identify a particular problem and you start thinking of possible solutions to that problem. The moment you think about that and you take a decision towards making that particular thing a skill or investing resources to ensure that that particular problem has a solution, it puts you into that entrepreneurial position. Technical skill. Every output that you see, there is a strategy in how that particular process runs. If it is in construction, you need technical skills. If it is in communication, you need technical skills. If it is in production, you need technical skills. So whenever you identify a problem, you need technical skills to solve this particular problem. So as an entrepreneur, you need to amass as much as more skills in your domain so that you can keep on innovating and providing solutions to that particular aspect. So as an entrepreneur, education needs to be consistent. There is no one point in time where you need to sit without thinking of providing a particular solution to a particular problem. Basic business skills. Yeah, as an entrepreneur, you need to have business skills. You need to understand that if you sell something in a price lesser than your cost of production, you are already working on a loss. You need to understand that when you sell something more than their cost of production, the profit margin or the sales margin is positive, it's already profit. You need to understand that if you incur a lot of expenses in the process of production, unnecessary expenses, it's going to reduce your profit margin. You need to learn how to be very efficient in resource allocation so that you can yield the best or maximum output. Those are basic business skills that every entrepreneur should have. Yes, we have what we call the misconceptions or the myths of entrepreneurship. The misconceptions about entrepreneurship. What are the misconceptions about entrepreneurship? So, successful entrepreneur needs only to have a great idea. It is very wrong. Entrepreneurs do not need great ideas. Just in your quarter, the way people dispose waste, and you think of a possible solution on how this waste can be collected and disposed. It's a very small idea. Makes you an entrepreneur because it's providing solution to people's problems. Just the fact that people are workers and they leave their homes, they have babies, they do not have nannies to take care of them, and you create a baby care center with some other facilities, is already an entrepreneur. You don't need to go and create Kaji or Brassaris or MTN to make you an entrepreneur. Just that particular aspect is already an entrepreneur. The aspect that you can create a self-delivery system that somebody can rush from the market and deliver foodstuffs in the house, preventing people from moving in the market during the season that they are doing shopping in a mall and the rest. It's already entrepreneurship. Just the aspect that you can think of how fruits get rotten in our country, pawpaw and the rest, and you start processing it, bottling it, and selling. It's already entrepreneurship. So the fact that you know that people can be doing maybe their occasions and they need food, and you create a food provision service which can take care of occasions, makes you an entrepreneur. You don't need a great idea. Entrepreneurship is easy. Yes, entrepreneurship is easy, and entrepreneurship is not easy. When we say entrepreneurship is not easy in this sense now, what do we really mean? We mean that it entails endurance. If you hear the word endurance, it means there is pain, that there is time that you might be thinking of giving up. So entrepreneurship is not easy, because if it was easy, there wouldn't have been the word endurance. But if endurance is coming, it shows that there are times that you would think of giving up, but you need to endure. Entrepreneurship is a risky gamble. One thing about entrepreneurship is it is not a gamble. Entrepreneurship is a risky venture, but not a risky gamble. When we say it is a risky venture, it means it's a field that you are investing your money without experience, without history. Gamble now means you are doing but tumum. But as an entrepreneur, what they do is they take calculated risk, which means you use the scientific approach to calculate a particular risk that you're taking, and then now you take but hedge, you hedge against risk. You take but measures in which you can minimize that risk, or which you can avert that risk, and not gambling. Because with gambling, it will land you 100% bankrupt. Entrepreneurship is found only in small businesses. No, entrepreneurship is not only in small businesses. Also, we can find entrepreneurship in big enterprises who are struggling to do innovation, invention, expansion, and diversification. That is still entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship and small businesses are the same. No, I gave an example. What's the difference between an entrepreneur and somebody who owns a shop in the market? We know of a lot of people who own shops that makes millions and millions per day, but those people are not entrepreneurs. Why? They are doing but copy and paste. They are simply just buying things and selling. But an entrepreneur can also be involved in buying and selling, but they struggle to look for a new way, provide maybe an easy way of buying and selling, easy way of advertisement, an easy way of reaching their potential customers without using the existing traditional methods. That is who an entrepreneur is. Then we talk of innovation. What are the types of innovation? In innovation, we can have invention. Invention means the introduction of a new thing in the market, which means that particular thing has never existed. They have been an existing problem, and you invent a new way of solving that particular problem. We call it invention. That is introducing something totally new in the market, which has never existed. Secondly, we have extension. We have something that has been existing but has been limited in supply. And then you come in to do the extension of that particular thing so that it can be able to satisfy a wider range of consumers. We call that extension. We can have a particular service that operates in a particular locality, and as an entrepreneur, you look for a way that that particular service can extend to other parts of the community. That is extension. Duplication. Entrepreneurship can be as a result of there is a particular thing that saves the population in a particular thing, and it is just that particular thing. And then you use your technical know-how to see how to duplicate that particular thing so that you can have two or more, so that it can maybe serve a wider customer or a wider range of people. Something can be, you can have just one machine in a particular company which is producing a particular output. And now because of workload, you decide to duplicate that machine so that it can produce two machines can be operating simultaneously in that particular company. That is duplication. That is entrepreneurship, which means you look at a machine and you struggle to make something exactly like that. When you look at the car manufacturing company, it's as a result of duplication. All those entrepreneurs, they did not come out, they did not invent a car again. They did not invent a car, but simply they duplicated a car with different models, which means when I look at Toyota pickup Hilux, I duplicate Nissan, I duplicate Land Rover or Range Rover, I duplicate Suzuki and the rest. Those are duplicates. You look at a particular thing and you struggle to come out with something similar than that, but with different features and different characteristics, but serving the same purpose. Then we have synthesis. Synthesis is a scientific word which comes from the word of bonding. And to summarize it, we can just say combinations of molecules. So entrepreneurship is your ability to build. How can you bring separate things, similar things together to build something new? That is synthesis. You bring smaller things and different objects. You bring iron, you bring maybe rubber, you bring others, and you tie something together. You bring tire, you bring iron, you bring engine, you bring light, and at the end of the day, you create Okada. That is entrepreneurship through, or innovation through synthesis. Then we have sources of innovation. Where does innovation come from? What inspires innovation? Unexpected occurrences. Immediately, we have something like disaster in a particular community. You discover that it is an unexpected occurrence. And in the process of struggling to salvage that particular situation, there is an innovation in that process, and that is an entrepreneur, which means in the process of that disaster, an entrepreneur or an innovator identifies that opportunity and introduces something new. That is a particular scenario that has motivated innovation to take place. Then we have incongruities. Incongruities is a term which is used to describe a situation where we can call it stupid. Entrepreneurship comes from that term, comes from stupidity. somebody who acts in a way that you think that he or she is stupid, in a way, or I can say abnormality, a way which is abnormal from the way things usually be. We call that incongruities. So which means somebody who is thinking abnormally from the way things used to be, or way people think, people are doing things and he's struggling to do his own different. That is incongruity. So it is a source of innovation. Those are people that innovate easily because they are struggling to do things different from the way people are doing it, whether they are making but an error or whether they are doing it right, but they are struggling to do it their own way. Process needs. The moment there are needs, in the process of production, there are needs. In the process, there are needs, and now in the needs, there are needs. And as these needs are arising, entrepreneurs start thinking.
Mr. Jume, 1 minute, please. It seems you are not sharing the right screen. You're presenting something else. Please, can you try to work on that? Except
Okay.
I am mistaken. I think you should be.
Can you see?
I think you're currently on the 11th slide, I think, but
Yes.
what we have on the screen, what we can see on the screen is you are still on the 8th slide. So please.
Oh.
And I think you can just go to just at the top. You take slideshow and you have from current slide. Just click on current slides, and I think it's going to maximize in a way others can see very well. There is an option at the top left corner from current slides, just from this top menu.
Champions League in 2008.
Yeah, where you have from the beginning, from current slide.
Like Julian Kuala, AS Oryx, Cannon Yale, major forces in African football in the 60s and 70s.
I don't know if you are able to see it.
Is it okay now?
Not
Is
yet.
it okay now? Is it okay now?
Okay.
Is it okay?
No, I can't see.
Is it okay now?
Sorry, we are still on the 8th slide. I don't know if it's only on my screen. Guys, I'm sure you guys can see just the 8th slide, right?
Yes, even here in Matthew, I'm seeing the 8th slide.
Also
Please
on the
check
eighth slide.
check which slide you're sharing. You're not sharing the right one, maybe. Just check your screen. What you have on your screen now is what the personal characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. That's what you are currently sharing.
Yes.
Maybe you are on the wrong slide.
Okay, let me see something.
Just stop. You may stop sharing your screen and then you do that again.
I think that one will be yeah.
Yes. So just try to share your screen again and pick the right slides.
Okay.
Yeah, I can now see
Okay.
the slide.
What you are currently on. Okay. So to make it more better, just kindly go to just below where you have slideshow, where you have current slides, from current slides, just below that.
From current slide.
Yes, that one. Yes, just click. Yes, just click from there. Just click.
Is it okay?
Just 1 minute. I think it's going to come up very well.
Okay. Is it okay now? Page 11.
Go back, click on it again. Click on it again. Just go back to that current slide and let's see. I think it's a little bit freezing. Can you go back to that from current slides?
Back to screen.
Do you have a full screen? Are you seeing a full
Yes,
screen?
presently I have a full screen. Then go to slide. Let me just end it now. Okay, current slide.
Okay, yes. Current slide, click on it. Just 1 minute. think that should be an issue. Okay. What I will do is maybe I should share from this direction. I don't know if it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because you're presenting and going, but we can't see you. You're moving faster, but we can't really see what you're sharing. I'm sure that should be the issue.
Okay, okay. Yeah, just share your screen. Maybe there's a small technical fault here. Let me stop sharing. Okay.
So I don't know if it's okay right now. I guess the others can see. Innovation.
Yeah, it's okay by me.
Yes, it's okay
Okay.
this way.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
okay by me.
it's okay right now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay
Okay, Mr.
here.
Achume, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Okay, guys. Sorry for that technical issues. Yeah. We were on sources of innovation. So we were on this other point, process needs. That's point 3. So I was saying that process needs now create an innovation because in the process of production, we need to bring factors of production together. That is the land, labor, and capital. And in the process of bringing these factors of production, we see the necessary things or the necessary mechanism that we can put in place to ensure that these factors of production, they produce efficiently, or they operate efficiently and effectively. So in that process of thinking, there is what we call now innovation. You come up with a mechanism that helps to bring all these factors of production together for them to produce efficiently and effectively. That gives rise to innovation. Then we have industrial and market changes. At first, in the marketing industry, there was no internet, or the internet was how can I put it? It was very small, and it was just based in the Western. We used to hear of these things, but you discover that in the marketing industry today, the internet is the giant now. That communication is through the internet, and now we are talking about digital marketing up and down. At first, we had just our media, our traditional media, the television and the radio, where we could receive news and information. But today we have social media, we have the internet, we have lots and lots of sources where we can receive information. That is industrial and market changes. The communication industry is fast changing. And because of that, the need for innovation is very, very high to ensure that we meet up with the needs of the current population or of the world in which we are operating in. Then we have demographic changes. Yeah, the demography helps to produce innovation. Things like climate change. As climate is changing, that is how maybe at first places we are too cold, but today they are already hot. People are thinking on how can a particular environment, maybe how can we reduce the temperatures or put the temperatures under a controllable level in a particular community. They start thinking of fans, air conditions, planting of trees, and the rest. That is innovation due to demography. Then we have perceptual changes. Now there's a perception that if you don't own an Android phone, you don't belong. It's a perception, because people with choronko or people without phones, they still believe, they still exist. And because of that perception, it gives rise for the production of diversity of Android phones, those that can be used by students, those that can be used for businesses. And that's why you discover that we have the OPS machine with the Android system, where they even use it for financial transactions and other stuff. It's because of the necessity of the Android system, because the world is having that perception that for every business to be successful, it needs to own an Android, something which has an Android system, something that is more technological. It's just a perception. And with that perception, it leads to innovation. And before you know it, it becomes an entrepreneurial venture. Knowledge-based concept. The moment we are educated, the concept of entrepreneurship was not too wide today because of people did not even have knowledge about entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurs of those days, they just did things by chance. And they were just committed with the little knowledge they had and the consistency and the self-motivation they had, they move on. But today, as we find ourselves in communities and we mingle with people around, we start thinking entrepreneurial. We start developing our mindset towards entrepreneurship, and that is how innovation. Then we stretch our minds to be even innovative. You sit like this and you ask yourself, what can I produce? And now you stretch your mind to start thinking of what you can produce. That is based on knowledge. So the knowledge has helped you to be innovative. Next slide, please. Okay. Entrepreneurship versus entrepreneur. All this is the same thing. Entrepreneurship is simply the process of starting and running one's own business. This involves a considerable amount of risks. And the person who runs this entrepreneurship is an entrepreneur who is simply now that individual who is ready to take that risk associated with creating, organizing, and owning a business. So entrepreneurship and entrepreneur moves together. You cannot have entrepreneurship without an entrepreneur. Likewise, you cannot have entrepreneur without entrepreneurship. Next slide, please. Okay. One thing is, for you to be innovative, there is a particular climate that you need to expose yourself into it. There is a particular climate that you need to expose yourself before you can be innovative. Before an entrepreneurial venture can go to completion. Irrespective of the characteristics of entrepreneurship, you yourself, you need to expose yourself to some particular aspects of life that will stretch you to think, that will stretch you to do some things extraordinary, that will make you produce something new. So the first thing is a trustful management that does not over control the personnel. So that is one of an environment that we encourage innovation, that we encourage entrepreneurship, is that management that will not over control the personnel. The moment you too static, or a company is too static, that if you leave from point A, you must be in point B, and anybody who does not do it that way will be sanctioned or will be sacked. You discover that that climate will not be conducive for innovation. But the moment you give people the opportunity to test new things, to challenge themselves, to take up initiatives, you discover that it creates an enabling environment for creativity. And before you know it, there is invention and entrepreneurship. Then now we have open channels of communication among all business members. Yeah, as we were saying, entrepreneurship is all about providing solutions to problems. But one thing is, my problem at times might not even be your problem. My problem might be my problem alone. But now when there is good communication between various business members, where I identify that my problem is Mr. B's problem, is Mr. C's problems, then now it creates room for you to start looking for a possible solution to a general problem. And before you know it, you introduce something new in the marketplace, which will act as providing a solution to the possible problem that has been disturbing people in that particular business line. Considerable contact and communication with outsiders. One thing is, the man's ways are always right in his own eyes, but that particular person needs an outsider to point out his or her errors. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be very, very open so that you can receive criticisms, you can receive encouragement, or you can receive whatsoever, so that you can innovate something. Because it's at that particular moment where you receive information from outsider, either criticizing or either encouraging or either appreciating, that you can introduce something new, that you can start thinking of something new in the market. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be ready so that you can introduce something, or you can listen to complaints from outside, encouragement from outsiders, their cries, their worries, and now it will help you. A large variety of personality types. Yes, you need to work with different persons of different walks of life. Because in it, that is when you identify talents, you train them, and then it creates innovation. A willingness to accept change. One thing is, change is very difficult to accept, but it is very important. And as an entrepreneur, you need to accept change, and you need to see how you can introduce a new thing in the market. And enjoyment in experimental with new ideas. Whenever you have a new idea, it doesn't end at the level of idea, but you look on how you can introduce this particular thing in the market. How you test that idea to see the reactions of others with respect to that your idea. You try to implement it and see how far it will go. A little fear of negative consequences for making a mistake. An entrepreneur is that person who is not afraid of mistake, who is ready to accept his or her mistake, correct them, and bounce back into the market. The selection and promotion of employees on the basis of merit. An entrepreneur is somebody who is ready to encourage innovation, and at that particular point, recognize those people who are responsible for innovation and then encourage them. That creates a good atmosphere for entrepreneurship, innovation, and growth. The use of techniques that encourage ideas, including suggestion system and brainstorming. A good entrepreneurial climate is that one that is open for suggestion, that is open for criticism, that is open for encouragement, that accepts ideas from all angles. That is when these ideas are gathered, they galvanize on it, and that proves or yield fruits to innovation. Sufficient financial, managerial, human, and time resources for accomplishing goals. So when you have sufficient finance, managerial experience, human capital, and time, and you put these things at the disposal of every member of your organization, creates a favorable climate for innovation and entrepreneurship. So guys, our time is up. Thank you very much. We'll just give some few minutes for questions and worries so that we clarify them before we call it an end to this session. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Juma, for that explicit presentation. So, guys, we are entertaining questions right now. So, if you have a question, kindly just indicate by a hand show, or you type your question in the chat area. We are going to, or you indicate in the chat area. We are going to give you the opportunity to unmute your mic and ask your question. I see we have the first person, that is Winda Dennis. I think you can unmute your mic and then you ask your question. Winda? Okay, I think maybe there is an issue with Winda. So we move to the next. Any other quiz? Any question, guys? Okay, we have Ndike Edwin.
Yeah, good evening once more, and thank you for the marvelous presentation, sir. My preoccupation is on the aspect of being persistent as one of the characteristics of an entrepreneur, and being persistent, because we've heard that you should not be jumping from one business to the other one. Where you are doing makara today, you should not jump to biscuit. The next day, you should not jump to this. So how long can you be persistent in in the same business? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. As an entrepreneur, the first thing is when you have an idea, a business idea, that business idea is to provide a particular solution to a particular problem.
Okay.
Yes. And then now when you have a vision, let me put it that way, a vision is already a strategy that you are struggling to provide a solution to that particular solution. You don't need to just test it for once and then you abandon it and go away. Immediately you have a vision, that vision will show you a technical way of handling that problem. And then now you know that you might not just go and put it and it solve the problem squarely. It might have its weaknesses and strength. What you need to do now is, in case you put the implementation of that your solution to that particular problem, and then it doesn't work 100%, but it works 10%. What you need to do is not to abandon it because it did not work 100%. You need to again revisit your strategy. Find out why is it that it did not work 90%, but it worked by 10%. Then when you do like that, you take the necessary adjustment and come back again to the market to implement what you are, the necessary adjustment that you have put in place. When you do it again and it doesn't work, you will try to find out why is it that it did not work the third time. There are times that the strategy is very good, but it is the procedure of implementation that was bad. But if you test and it doesn't work and you run, another person will come and take your strategy and then has a good way of implementing it, and you see that you lost everything. But the moment you test and fail and you come back and test and fail and come back and test and fail, you discover that you are upgrading with time and you are gaining experience. And before you know it, you provide a product in the market that stands the test of time, that no competitor can shake it, because what? It has undergone series of modifications to be standard. So thank you. I think that one can provide some more clarifications to your doubt.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for that question. I think let me see. I think there are some questions in the chat. We have a question from Ayuketang, my daddy. So he says, "Good evening, all. I wish to ask, when you have an idea or you have a possible solution for a problem, but you don't have enough capital, about how can you go about it in order to achieve your goals?" Okay, I think the question goes, let me rephrase the question. They wish to ask, if you have an idea and you equally have a solution for this problem, but you don't have enough capital to go about it to achieve your goal. So what can you do in respect to this? Mr. Ajume, over to you.
Okay. Yeah, because we are still at the level of characteristics of a creative climate, we are going this course like this. We run for at least close to more than 1 week. And we are going to get into a business plan. In the business plan, we have an aspect of the business plan, which, how are you going to finance your venture or your project? Then now, in that particular aspect of your business plan, we are going to talk about sources of funding and how you can solicit for these sources of funding for your venture. So when we reach there, that particular question, we will just have a solution to it. So just keep your business idea as we are going. When we reach that particular aspect, you will see how you will just be feeding it in your business plan. And when we reach in financing, you see how the possible solutions to your problems will be solved. So thank you very much. We have not reached there.
Okay, thank you very much for that brief answer. All right, any other question? We are still accepting questions. If you have a question, just indicate, please. Okay. If there are no questions, then I'm just going to add a little on what Mr. Jume has just said. Okay, and I'm going to take you guys into the digital marketing industry. So you try to understand, when we talk about entrepreneurship, you try to understand what entrepreneurship and innovation is. Okay, I'm going to take a typical example. Let's look at Amazon. All right, we all know the CEO of Amazon, right? Who is the CEO of Amazon? Who is the CEO of Amazon? Guys, are you there? Who is the CEO of Amazon? Is it that nobody knows the answer? What? Just unmute your mic and you give the answer if you know.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Who else? Who is the CEO of Amazon?
Yeah, so I think it's Jeff Bezos.
Great. Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is the CEO of Amazon, and at one moment, I think multiple times he has become the richest person in the world, right? I think he has competition with other top tiers as well. So Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, actually created this company in 1994, right? And what was the essence of Amazon? Amazon, the main purpose of Amazon was to sell books online. That was the main purpose of Amazon. Their main priority at that moment was to sell books online. Now, from what Mr. Jume just explained, he said entrepreneurship is not all about you taking products from one place and selling, right? If you are able to add value to a particular product or service, then you become an entrepreneur. That is where innovation steps in. Okay. So his idea was to sell book, but not selling the book like an ordinary seller, right? But to add value to what he is doing. So there are so many people out there. During his time, there were people who were selling books. People had their shelves, people had their warehouses, but maybe he did not have that capital to buy a chunk of books and place them in a shelf or in a warehouse to sell like others. Okay. So he came out with an idea. And that idea was to do what? To sell books online. Not selling books which he has written, but selling the books of others. And he wanted to do this online. That is how e-commerce actually came into play. Now, at that level, what happens? He does not really sell these books. He does not buy these books and sell them. He places these books on his store, all right? And people order this book. And when he receives an order, what he does is he goes and gets these books and then he supplies them and makes his profit. Now, what has he added to that particular product? The value which he has added is the means of what? It's the means of distributing that particular product. So others did not know that they could actually do that. They could actually own a space, an online space where they could place this product and people buy them and they do the delivery. Okay. So when he started that, he noticed that it was not really improving. As we know, before you get into entrepreneurship, capital can always be a problem. And being an entrepreneur does not mean that you remove 10 million francs and you start up a business. Just go and buy products and start selling. It doesn't even make you an entrepreneur. You become an entrepreneur when you add value to something, right? So what he does was, what he did later on was he decided to diversify, bringing in other products. So we are simply saying here, what I'm simply saying here is that when you are actually selling, when you actually get into entrepreneurship, you don't just pick up so many things like Mr. Ajumes rightly explained that one person selling variety of products. You alone, you are selling this, you're selling that. You did not actually pick that point. You did not actually pick that particular thing you have that passion for. Okay. So when you begin with that passion, then you can add other things to it. So when Jeff Bezos started with selling of books online, he later on did what? Added other products and services, not only products, but products and services. And at that level, he did not buy and keep. What happened? He actually took from people and supply. When people demand these products, he gets from them and they sell. That is where digital entrepreneurship now steps in. Mr. Ajume, please just take over. Let me just give me 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, like Mr. Tamon was saying, as time was moving on, that is how he was introducing other products in the online Amazon. And if you discover today, Amazon doesn't sell only books. Amazon is selling a variety of products. When you look at Amazon today, they sell shoes, they sell clothes, they sell even electronics and many others. And we discover that he's doing great. And it's the same for lots and lots of businesses. You discover that they did not start big. And the reason they didn't start big was because of those challenges. The moment you start your business and you identify the challenge, you adjust. That's why even if you look at the Tadita Group, the website that Tadita Group is having today is totally upgraded from the website that Tadida Group had 3 years ago, 4 years ago. We discovered that the website, as time is going, we are looking at the weaknesses of our website, the security of the website, the accessibility of the website, and we are upgrading. It is the same for every business. As they start small, they are seeing their challenges, they are ameliorating, and they are going. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for that. All right. So I believe you guys are understanding what I'm saying. I'm just simply answering the question of Mr. Is it I'm answering the question of let me see who asked that question before. Okay. Are you Ketang? I'm just throwing more like, though you're going to see this more when Mr. Jume gets into the next phase of this training. Okay. So I'm simply saying that you don't really need to start big. Okay. You can start by getting whatever you're getting, but make sure you try to add value to what you are doing. Okay. So when we're going to have a brief, because we're equally going to have a brief session on digital entrepreneurship, where we'll be talking about branding. We're talking about branding and how you can actually take a small business and make it look big in the eyes of others. Okay. So I believe you've actually understood from this example of Jeff Bezos and other people, top tier, the top richest people in the world. These are the steps they used. Okay. These are the things they did. And of course, after Amazon came in, other companies decided to copy the same. Now, when they copy, what they do is that they don't maintain the same brand name or the same business name. They add their own values to it. That is what makes them what? An entrepreneur. If you look at the richest person in Nigeria, and I think the richest person in Africa, the owner of, that's Aliko Dangote, right? If you look at the products which he produces, several people do same. People produce cement, people produce sugar, and so on. But just that brand, that is what makes the difference. The brand and the quality he has added to the product which he's selling. Many people, he has made people to understand that Aliko Dangote cement is far more better. Okay, they are telling you the things they have added to the cement, all right, that makes it far more better than others. But I'll tell you, there are other companies that actually produce what? Cement that is far more better than Aliko Dangote. But because of the way he has branded his business, because of the way he has worked with our mind, because of the innovation he has added, that makes him a very top what? Entrepreneur. And of course, with time, as he moves ahead, just beginning with the cement, he started adding other products. With time, he's going to get into other products which he's going to sell. And you'll notice that just that Aliko Dangote brand has so many products which he sells. And when you hear the name Aliko Dangote, this product is produced by this company, you already know that it's authentic. You already know that what you're going to get is original. If you get products, if you say this shoe was produced by Adidas, you already know that it is great because of the brand, because of the innovation that was added to that particular product. I believe we've been able, I'm just trying to summarize what Mr. Jume has been explaining in a real life scenario so you understand what this entrepreneurship is and what you are actually getting into as far as the course is concerned. All right, so I don't know if there is any other question.
I'm seeing a question here from Emmanuel Saidzaka. Is asking, how can you identify a problem? Yeah, problem identification first is in our communities, in the way people do things. When you sit like this in your community, when you go to the market, observing what makes people uncomfortable, what makes life very difficult for some people in a particular community. Those are already problems. Is it a service, insufficiency of a service? Is it insufficiency of a product? That's problems are everywhere. Is to identify a problem is just to ask the question why, how, why is it that people are dying of cholera? Why is it that people are having typhoid everywhere? Why and how? When you're asking these questions like that, you discover that you start identifying problems. Why is it that people are trekking for long distances? Why is it that people are cultivating their farms now without putting fertilizer and it's not doing well like before? Why is it that there is fall in the yields of output in agriculture? Why is it that the prices of agriculture dropping. Why is it? Why is it? When you ask yourself the why and how question, you discover that you'll be identifying lots and lots of problems. So there are problems everywhere, provided you ask the question how and why. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Jume Marvin. And we want to thank you guys for joining us into this session. I believe you must have learned a lot. And trust me, by the time you're done with just this introductory phase of this course, you're really going to understand what entrepreneurship is. And of course, we are going to bring you guys real life scenarios. I'll bring you guys examples from here as well, which I believe is going to spur you up, is going to really make you to see reasons why you should get into entrepreneurship. Now, one thing I've noticed about us from Africa is that we always want to get things done as soon as possible. We don't have that perseverance. We don't have that patience. Look at the business I started how many years ago? That's close to about 30 years ago. Amazon. If you see this business, he has taken time before the business is where it is today. He's the richest person in the world, not because he just started and just exploded. If you look at Microsoft, CEO of Microsoft, these are all innovative ideas which they brought into the industry. Okay, there are so many people who equally produce computers, people produce laptops, but there are specific brands that when you hear of that brand, trust me, you always want to keep try to get money to purchase a product from that particular brand. So let's start thinking of how we can grow ourselves. Let's start thinking of how we can become an entrepreneur. Let's start thinking of not only becoming an entrepreneur, but becoming a digital entrepreneur, because that is what is making people stupidly rich today. If you look at the top 10 richest people in the world, trust me, the top 10 richest people in the world are digital entrepreneurs, because they have incorporated digital marketing into whatever they are doing. All right. If you look at the CEO, if you look at Microsoft, if you look at Amazon, if you look at Tesla, if you look at XSpace, if you look at Meta, all these companies, they are at the top. The richest people in the world are at the top because they are digital entrepreneurs. But you need to understand what this entrepreneur is, then you can incorporate whatever you're doing. And of course, you need to incorporate this in any other thing you're doing. You can become a human resource specialist. Okay, you can become a human resource specialist, but how can you really own that human resource firm? I know most of you here, you have gone through human resource management. You've studied the course, you have a degree in human resource, but the only thing that is in your mind is to work for a company. That's what is in your mind. You're only thinking of what? Working for a company, trying to get a job. Every day you're applying for a job. Can't you even sit for once and think if you can open a human resource firm and manage other companies? There are companies that don't really want to recruit human resource manager. There are companies that are novice, they don't even know the importance of a human resource manager. But you as a consultant, okay, you as the owner of a big human resource firm, you can go to these companies, you drop a project to them and tell them, this is what I want you guys to do. I've noticed that you don't have a human resource specialist in your company. All right, this is what I want you guys to do. If you're an accountant, maybe you want to open an audit firm, all right, or an accounting firm. Entrepreneurship is going to help you to achieve that. Everybody is thinking of how to become an entrepreneur. Mr. Jume Marvin is thinking of how to excel as far as CPEP is concerned. I am thinking of how I can excel in the various industries or the various domains which I am currently managing. You don't only think, even if you're working in any company, you should not think that you're going to be there for a very long time, because you can easily be replaced. If you have an idea and you start up something and it's not moving, don't assume that it's going to take you 2, 3, 4 months for you to achieve that. Give yourself time. Give yourself at least a year. And when you're getting into something, try to think of what you are passionate about. What really drives you? What do you love doing on a day-to-day basis? Don't tell me that you love selling dresses on WhatsApp. You love selling, advertising people's products. You're not producing anything. You're not adding value to anything. Get the entrepreneurial skills and see how you can add that to whatever you are doing. And trust me, you are going to start thinking as an entrepreneur and in less than no time, you are going to have a brand which you can work with. All right. So, guys, I think we've come to the end of today's session. I believe you guys loved it. And like I said before, please, for those of you who want a certification at the end of this training program, all right, you're just going to pay a token of 5,000 for those who want. It is not compulsory, but I believe there are some people who want to get certification from the institute after this training program. So after this, we are going to maybe we submit. We are going to forward a form in the forum so that we start producing these certificates ahead of time. So if you need a certificate, you just need to indicate, all right, and we start producing them ahead of time so that by the time we are done with this first phase, your certificate should be ready. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I hope there is no other question. I don't know if Mr. Ajumi has anything to say before we can wrap it up for the night.
Okay, guys. Thank you for your time. It was a great day. And next class, we are going to be looking on entrepreneurial process. And that's where those people who are asking how to identify an opportunity, we're going to be looking at it during our entrepreneurial process, where we will get into the third step of it, which is the business plan. Because with the entrepreneurial process, you will look at the process, you will look at how to identify an opportunity, you will look at how to put that opportunity now as an idea, how to convert that idea into a business plan, and how to fund your plan, and how to establish your business. So guys, don't miss the next session, which is coming up this week. We are going to communicate in a group based on the other schedules. So don't miss it. Be ready, attentive, as the notes will be shared after that particular session. Love you guys and see you. Have a best night.
All right, guys. Bye-bye for now. If you are here, you did not introduce yourself, you can just unmute your mic, you say something, and if you don't have anything to say, you can quietly exit the training program. You can exit the forum or the live session. So we are going to keep it open for the next 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, we are going to close everything. If you don't have anything to say, you can just easily exit from the training. If you have anything, we're just going to leave it, give you 5 minutes, and after that, we are going to end the class.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Mufo Emmanuel. I'm based in Boya, school in University of Boya. So I'm so pleased with the lectures given by the host and the co-host. It was so amazing. Honestly, it's really like a guideline to those of us doing entrepreneurship, the basic in masters. So it was just like a guideline. Thanks so much. Thanks to the institute. Don't leave the institute and the founder.
All right, thank you very much for that great remark.